The Lost One and the Seeker. Interword. Alana had paused. The storyteller finished typing, then, pulling off his glasses, he dropped them to his desk and rubbed his face. Then, steepling his fingers, he peered at Alana for a moment. Ah, he sighed after a time, lowering his hands. Alana watched him closely. Is something wrong?
Oh no,
He mumbled.
that is...
He snatched up his glasses, put them on, and peered at her again.
Just tell me again, dear girl. What did you say your name was earlier?
Alana?
I thought so. You chose, then, to give this girl here your name?
No, sir. I am Alana. That is, the same as in the story I'm telling. The storyteller tugged at his shirt collar.
That's what I was afraid of,
He muttered, and he took a deep breath. Then he took another deep breath. He gazed out through the window, relieved to see the usual people walking past, confirming that he had not been transported somewhere else. Alana leaned forward in her chair, her solid black eyes deep and penetrating. Do you want me to stop now, sir?
Uh,
The storyteller glanced at the wall clock and was amazed at how early it still was.
well, no. Tell me, how long ago would you say this story began?
He asked this in a careful voice, watching her reaction. Alana sat back again and gave a little shrug, and when she answered, her tone was distant, her eyes straying to the window. I don't even know anymore. There was a hint of strain in her voice as she added, It was such a long, long, long time ago now. The storyteller let out a long, slow breath and stared at his computer screen for several seconds. It was Alana who spoke again, her eyes still fixed on the window. Some of these things seem like they happened only yesterday, and I can remember them clearly, down to the very words of the conversations I am relating to you. The storyteller arched an eyebrow at her, though her gaze remained elsewhere. She went on. But there are other details that I only heard about later, or must simply fill in as they make sense to me. Alana blinked and smiled at the storyteller. You should know, sir, that I did not actually witness a great deal of what I will tell you next.
Well, naturally, he muttered to himself, turned to stone as you were, or some such thing.
He cleared his throat, glancing at her.
Oh, sorry.
Had what she had related really happened to this girl? This real girl sitting here before him? As if she was lost in recollection and had not heard him, Alana gazed again through the window, distractedly brushing her hair back with her fingers. For the first time, the storyteller was able to view her ears, which were indeed a little oddly shaped. Small, but pointed at the tops, reminiscent of elvish creatures from all the fantasy stories he used to read. This was jarring, for it reinforced the wonder he had earlier felt, and he could only conclude that this girl was not quite human. But then, what could she be? Reality and unreality seemed to be in conflict within her very being, and only reinforced his earlier question. Was this a real girl? Was the story she was telling real? Even while these thoughts swirled within the storyteller, Alana clasped her hands together and frowned down at the floor, musing. There are two persons in particular that I learned a great deal from after most of these things had already happened. I am very much indebted to them, and not only for their hospitality to me over those many years when they let me stay with them. A long period of silence followed, the street noise and the ticking of the wall clock murmuring in the background.
Well, all right.
The storyteller snapped his fingers and flexed them above his keyboard.
Let us continue. What's next?
Alana smiled wistfully. Next, I should give you an account of a very singular event, foundational to all that follows in the story. She hesitated, her face assuming a pensive aspect. There were two events, actually, she said in a soft voice, that happened simultaneously. One of them I will relate to you now, but the other, more dear to my heart, I will leave until later and present to you in another context.